Sure. And I can say I am cloud hired.
That yes, come and join and get cloud hired. I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired.
Hey, Go Cloud Architect family. I'm cloud hired.
So, I'm cloud hired, guys.
So I'll just say I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired thanks to Go Cloud Architects.
It worked for me, and now I'm cloud hired. Because of Go Cloud Architect program,
I am cloud hired.
see!
I am cloud hired. Thank you, Mike and the GloCloud team.
All right, we are back at you, fresh and clean for 2023. My name is Chris Johnson. I am the Chief Operating Officer here at Go Cloud Careers, joined by Mike Gibbs, our founder and CEO, and Alonzo Coleman, our Chief of Everything, Chief Marketing, Chief Branding, Chief this, Chief that. We are all excited to be here with you on this episode of Head in the Clouds, episode 201. All about New Year's resolutions. So we're going to be talking about, New Year's resolutions that people shared with us from our community. People that are on LinkedIn, people that are on YouTube, people that are on our email list. So what we normally talk about here on our channel and on all of our platforms, we really focus on cloud computing careers and tech career guidance. We recently won an award for the best cloud computing school or the best cloud architect school. I think the exact verbiage was the best online education for careers in cloud computing. I think Mike's got an award somewhere there. I don't know if it's in your new office there.
I do. It's in my old office. This office I had to build because my cat wouldn't come into my old office. And she's running around here. She's playing with the trees, and she's all kinds of happy.
Oh, so that's a real tree behind you there, huh?
Real tree.
No background.
Oh, yeah, real trees. All right. So, so here at Go Cloud Careers, we do cloud architect training, solution architect training, cloud engineer training for those of you that were lucky enough to get into our cloud engineer program while there were still slots available. We do cloud career coaching. But what we really focus on is we focus on those soft skills. We focus on not just the tech. We focus on the tech, but we also focus on the emotional intelligence in tech, things like leadership skills and technology, career coaching, all those good things. Of course, we offer some free resources on our platform to help you learn in the AWS for free. And we've got AWS Solution Architect certification materials available for you. Speaking of which, actually, let me make sure, Tyrone, if you could put that link in the chat box about our AWS exam guide materials. We've got a free AWS exam guide, a free AWS video course, and free AWS live demos that you can get for free. Again, free, to help you prepare for AWS certification. And the link for that is in the chat box as well as in the description. Like I mentioned earlier, we focus on career coaching and helping people reach their dream cloud careers. And with that in mind, I want to make sure everyone's aware of our free How to Get Your First Cloud Job webinar this Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll talk about everything from hold on one second. Got the wrong link out here. We'll talk about everything from why we created our programming contents to how to become the ultimate cloud architect, what you actually need to know, and everything in between. What hiring managers want, what type of job experience matters, and how to deal with HR. So make sure to join us on Thursday. You can join us and ask us all your questions and learn about how we want to help you reach your dream careers. And then, of course, make sure you're following us on LinkedIn. Make sure you're following both Mike and the Go Cloud Careers page on LinkedIn. That's where we put all of our information out first. So make sure you're following us there. But today or tonight or wherever you are, whatever time of the day or night it is, we are going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. And so, again, Happy New Year to everybody. Before we get started, Mike or Alonzo, any of you want to Either of you want to say anything? Hold on. Before we do, I forget I got these fun things. All right. Who's out first?
Well, that's Mike's theme music, so I can't go first.
It's either that. This makes me happy. Of course, we all know when it comes down to what I really love, it's Bob Marley and Ziggy Marley. But this is
hold on. We also got this for Mike. Going too long.
He's
All right.
still on voice timer. He's voice time out.
What you got to say? Don't forget, we got a timer on you.
So what I really want to say, and my team is really kind enough to leave a timer because they know I always have a voice overuse injury. So I just want to let you know that all of you can literally do everything and anything you possibly ever wanted. But you take a dream, you build the plan, you execute on that plan until you get the job done. It doesn't matter what it was. When I practiced medicine and I decided I wanted to be a network engineer, everybody said, you got to do this help desk thing, you got to do this network admin thing. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm going to train for the job I want. I'm going to get it. And I went on my first interview to be a network engineer. And they said, you're better than that. You're a senior network engineer. And, I was injured. When 13 orthopedic surgeons told me I would never walk again. I don't walk far, but, walk up and down the stairs of my house. I cook for my cat and my wife every single day. And to me, that's kind of great. So the point is you can all do anything you want. So it's a new year. It's a fresh slate. Make this the year of you. Build your career, build the best relationships, build the life of your dreams, and start now. Not to quote Copernicus, but the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Let's face it, start now. So many people are afraid to build their careers, build their lives. They're afraid. They're afraid of failure. If you're afraid of failure, you're already lost. Go conquer your dreams. Go build the life you want. Build the relationships you want and love every day and get better every day. That's the secret to success.
Well, I tell you, it is 2023. I'm excited as ever before. It's been an amazing 2022 with our awards, with our increase in students, with our converting and changing over the lives of these students from starting to whatever previous career that they have and transitioning into their best tech careers ever. It's been a phenomenal year experiencing this with both Mike and Chris, and I am excited. I am more geared up and amped up and hyped up more than ever before to ensure that everyone from this point onward becomes and transition into their best cloud career. So let's get into it, onto these questions. I am ready to go, guys.
Me too.
All right. So before we get to some of the New Year's resolutions, do either one of you want to share? I'm not going to ask you to share your resolutions unless you want to. I don't have a resolution, but I don't have enough brain capacity to figure that one out. But if you want to share your thoughts or your experiences or advice as it relates to New Year's resolutions in general before we get started, I'll leave that floor open for you.
Yeah, I'll start with it. People know me and they know I'm pretty disciplined. I follow the paleo diet. I don't eat bread. I don't eat grains. I don't eat dairy. And I've been this way for about a decade because my arthritis feels better this way. I make sure that I get some form of exercise every day. These days it's yoga in a 130-degree room, which I have special heaters in my house, but I do it every day. I go to bed at a reasonable time every single night, no matter what. And I wake up super early to get the things done. We all have the power to take control of our lives. Every one of us. There's nothing that truly stands in your way. When I went to college, I worked 2 full-time jobs and went to school. It wasn't fun, believe me. But the point is that we can all do it. There's stories I can give you of immigrant students of mine that, literally speaking, went to the consulate every single day for a year just to come to America. And they had a $200 a month income. And now they've got $150,000 and $200,000 amazing cloud architect jobs. And they did it with hard work. My family personally came here. They owed money on their airplane tickets for their kids to an uncle that sponsored the visa to come from Greece to the United States. Father-in-law, whatever you want to call him, he worked full time as a cook during the day, as a dishwasher at another place. I mean, him and his brother did cement stairs and things like that on the weekends for extra money to make sure his kids could go to school. You can all do it. You can all accomplish anything you want. Most people, the only thing that stops you is you. So I've had patients that had cancer that walked out of the hospital, patients that we all thought were going to die that night back when I used to practice medicine, and they walked out of there, and some of them ran marathons. So the point is make this your year. Fight for yourself. Fight for your family. You take better care of you. Build a career where you can earn as much as you want. When your spouse wants something, you can provide it for them. When your kids need a better education, you can give it to them. And then your stresses go down, believe me. Now, you may have to climb up a mountain in order to get to your goals. But do it. Just do it. Build the life of your dreams, build the career of your dreams, and work to get better every day. That's what I have to say. How about you, Alonzo?
I couldn't agree more, Mike. I think we tell everyone the program works if you do. This is not microwavable. This is not a hot pocket course. This is not something that you can mix and eat and hope everything works out for the best. This takes patience with yourself, determination, a day-to-day resolution to move forward, even if you struggle in it. That's what we're here for, to help everyone to achieve their dreams. And a dream that doesn't require the effort is probably not the dream you should be working towards. If it's too easy, everyone can do it. If it's too easy, then it's probably not worthy of your time. If it's too easy, you deserve more of that challenge. And this is what we provide here, is making sure that everyone achieves their dreams. And I am all for it.
Yeah. And, we all fight for it to be better. So yeah. I think we have fun with our New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, I agree. I think we all resolve every day as it would be a New Year's resolution to move forward and to be better for our students on a global scale. So I think that we live New Year's resolutions on a daily basis.
We do. Remember that free Azure boot camp I did with COVID the whole time?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, let's not talk about that, Mike, because
well, we still have our timer, so we got to make sure we're
all right,
to the point.
All right, so let's get to some of these. So we had a lot of people turn in some New Year's resolutions to us. Let me find them over here. Give me a second.
See, my cat's behind me now. She's like in the new office.
All right. So sorry, I had some issues with my camera there for a second. So we had a lot of people that submitted their resolutions to us, but we're only able to pick so many of them, unfortunately. But I am going to give a quick rundown of some of the ones that we're not going to address, and I'll probably give a quick rundown on a handful of them, and then get your input on it. And like I said, we've got some specific ones that we're actually going to talk about in depth. So we've got we have someone that submitted that their resolution is to get cloud hired. Another person said their resolution is to become a cloud architect. Another one is I will have a great job. I hope to have a wonderful job. To become a cloud architect and a solution architect. To gain cloud architect mastery and get cloud hired by July 2023. To get cloud hired. To finally obtain my moment. Cloud hired and leave my dead-end job. I like that one. That was
like that one a lot.
To get cloud hired, to become the best cloud architect, finish the program, and getting hired as a cloud architect.
I love that too.
So, in case you couldn't tell, there's a theme of those like 10 or 15 of my resolution is to get cloud hired. So, just a few thoughts about that. It's one thing to resolve to do something. It's another thing to do the things to make it happen.
Yeah.
So my experience in the past with resolutions, whether it be New Year's resolutions or just general resolutions, is that if you don't put any time or effort or structure or planning or anything of that nature into it, your resolution is not going to happen. And that's one of the reasons why in our program that we do with Go Cloud Careers, that's one of the reasons why we have an entire chapter of our section dedicated to building your plan. And not just building your plan, but your steps to success, your SWOT analysis, your SMART goals, and your professional development timeline. Well, a lot of you are probably like, but those are all the same thing. No, they are not. They are all separate but interwoven pieces to the same puzzle. It's really important that you put something behind your resolution. And so I wanted to briefly introduce those resolutions, those simple worded resolutions, to see what your thoughts were on that, gentlemen, such as the getting cloud hired or to become a cloud architect. It's a great resolution to have.
Yeah.
But how are we going to do it?
I think, we need a couple of spheres of plans. First, we need the macro or the big plan. The big plan is specific, measurable, achievable, results-oriented, time-based. I will be a cloud architect by this time. Poof. Then in order to get there, okay, I need to learn networking. I need to learn data center. I need to learn cloud. I need to learn system design. I need to learn business acumen. I need to learn leadership skills. I need to learn executive presence, emotional intelligence, presentation skills, sales skills, ROI modeling, and all those other things. Look, if somebody could really get a $200,000 job by doing a silly 20-hour certification exam, everybody would have it. But that's a meaningless thing in the grand scheme of things. It's the knowledge to actually do the work. When you're dealing with people that aren't as much as physicians and lawyers, they have to have a knowledge base. So, what's your plan to accomplish each of them? For our students, we help them build a plan. We determine, okay, this certification will help you get an interview, because certifications don't get anybody hired. We have to be clear about that. But this certification is going to build the brand. This one is going to go with that brand. This certification is going to destroy your brand, take it off of your resume. And there's that. And then it's, okay, what's your learning plan? How are you going to get there? Which classes are you going to go to? Which books are you going to read? Which RFCs are you going to read? Who are you going to practice interview each other with to work on your interview? What is your leadership development plan? What are you going to do? Are you going to attend our classes? If you're not, are you going to get an MBA and do this and this? So it takes, a plan. They don't build a hotel by basically saying, hey, we're going to start today and get it done a month from now.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. You don't build an elite career the same way. A doctor doesn't wake up and say, I'm going to be a doctor in 7 years and just do it on their own. It doesn't happen. There's something required, or 8 years, and before the residency. So it's all about building your plan. But look, a plan is just a plan unless you execute it and do the steps on the plan. So it's the discipline of getting things done and the right plan. So I know this Navy SEAL that likes to say, if you have to eat an elephant, eat it one bite at a time. Same thing with your plan. Make your steps specific, measurable, achievable, results-oriented, time bases for each little goal along the way. When you have and you achieve that goal, celebrate that goal. I like James Bond, so twice a year I have a vodka martini, shaken but not stirred. I don't really drink otherwise. But I love James Bond movies, and every once in a while it makes me feel kind of cool. So I achieve one goal, I have my vodka martini, shaken but not stirred. I don't celebrate until I get my next one done, and my next one done, and my next one done. That's how I do things. And you went along the way, one last thing. Sometimes it's not going to go according to plan. So you may have to readjust your plan and adapt your plan. But here's the key. Keep going. General Patton said, no battle plan survives contact with the enemy. Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the face. The reality is, it's not how hard you get hit. It's not how many times you get knocked down. It's whether you keep going until you win. You do that, you will always win. So believe in yourself. Work to achieve things. Try, and try again. And one last thing that I heard in there that I didn't like, I hope to be hired. I had a really great executive coach. She's a close friend. We worked together. She used to be my mentor. Now she's my executive coach. She told me a long time ago, and she said, is the person going to get this done? And I said, I hope so. And she pulled me aside and she said, Michael, hope is not a management strategy. What are you going to do to make sure it's done? So I don't like hope. I love hope. Hope builds a dream, and a dream builds a plan. A plan gets built and needs to be executed, and then you win. So I get further than hope.
All right, Alonzo, any insights into those resolutions?
Well, yeah, I like I said, I don't hope is great to have, but is not a plan. So I have two versions that I'd like to do from those that are visual and prefer to look at their dreams. And I would definitely recommend a vision board. Create that, come up with some concepts, cut them out, clip them out, grab those JPEGs, compile them in whatever way you do. And then next to that, write out your plan about what it is, when you want to get it done, how you're going to get it done, and your deadline date. So I would say compile all that into one large group. You can do that on platforms like Pinterest, where you have your own, privatize that particular account, list the things that you want about those and get them done. But more of a more structured version, I think I can break those down into like 5-6 tips. And one thing I would say is visualize your income. It starts in your mind about what you want to do. It starts in how you see yourself as a cloud architect, where you see yourself as an architect, your team, your company or companies. Think about that. Then you start defining the next step to get you where you want to be. So, okay, I want to work at Go Cloud Careers. Okay, how do I need to do that? What are the qualifications? What do I need to do to list everything so that I may be a highly competitive applicant towards securing a position there? The next step would be find methods of accountability. If you have a group of people who have the same goals, hang around them. If they have the same goals, hold yourselves accountable. I need to learn this. I need to know BGP by a specific time frame. I need to know what the difference is between VLANs, trunking, any of these concepts and whatnot that you need to learn so that you can chew that first bit of that elephant so that you can move on to the next proverbial piece of that elephant. The next thing is review your goals. Make sure that your goals are aligning with the information that you're studying. It doesn't make any sense to study about being a DevOps person to think that it's going to be the first step towards being a cloud architect. Review what you want to be. Make sure it's the shortest path to your overall goal. And I think the final thing that I'm thinking about is being flexible. The more you plan, I learned this early in life, is the more you plan life, the more life plans you. So take into account that things are not going to always go. Nothing is really a straight line, but you're going to have those winding turns. You're going to have your lefts, rights, ups, downs, valleys, peaks, but still keep going because your overall goal is going to be worth the fight, worth the effort, worth the sleepless nights, worth the sacrifices. I want to go out with my friends versus maybe I need to sit back at home on that Friday, grab a nice order of whatever your favorite meal is, and buckle down and study on these concepts that you might be shaky about. So overall, realize that you can make it happen if you put in the work.
Well said, Alonzo.
Perfect. Yep. Well said. All right. So let's get to the first one of these I want to dive deep into. Let me find it. All right. So we had someone turn in a New Year's resolution of getting one IT certification per quarter towards my career.
I'm going to address this because this one hurts me. And it hurts me for the following reasons. When I see a resume that has more than 3 certifications on it, I throw it away. And I won't even talk to the person or interview the person. And here's the reason why. When you take a certification, they brainwash you with all the things that you really don't do in real life. You take an AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate training, and they talk about CloudFront as if it's the only content delivery network. Look, Amazon uses 3 content delivery networks, not just CloudFront, because it's not good enough. They talk about single cloud. Guess what? 81% of customers are multi-cloud, so you can't use that. Then they try and sucker you into these beautiful databases like Amazon Aurora and DynamoDB. Guess what? 81% of customers are multi-cloud, and you can't use either one of them in a multi-cloud environment. Then they teach you these proprietary things like ECS. You use that, and guess what? You can't work multi-cloud. So the more certification somebody gets, the less functional they actually become in real world. What's worse with the certifications, at least for architects, but for anybody, you want to be an architect and you need to design, present, and sell. How do you design a solution to improve business performance? Guess what? There's no system design in this. There's no ways to optimize business performance, and all it is it points you to a single vendor's technology. Now, if you want to be great in your career, you can't be focused on a vendor's anything. You got to be focused on your customer. If a customer comes to me and says, Mike, how can you optimize WAN for my business, or how can you optimize communications and collaborations? The second I say, I got this cool AWS solution for you, I'm escorted out of the room. I'm fired from my job because I look like I'm biased. Now, if I go to a customer and they say, Mike, I need you to do this, and I say, let's go over your business requirements, and I say, we have these options. In our experience, the best solutions are by combining this, this, and this. Now, AWS has strengths here, Azure has strengths here, Google has strengths here. By combining them, we can give you these business benefits. I'm interested, but guess what? I'm a trusted advisor. I'm not an evangelist. There's no place for evangelists outside of religion. They don't belong in a tech career. And when you get one certification per quarter, they're typically in different careers. So here's what it does. I need someone that knows networking. I need someone, let me tell you, networking. It took me 75,000 pages of rating for my Cisco Certified Internet Expert. And what was it on? Routing and switching. You know what was not on it? Wireless, voice, or security. The people that did security CCIE had to read another 75,000 pages. The people that did the voice ones had another 75,000 pages of reading. And when you take one certification per quarter, not only do you never get to the meat or the depth of what you need, you learn little bits and pieces of other people's careers. And I've interviewed 5,000 people in my career, and you can tell the people that have a bunch of certifications standing a mile away. You ask them a question and they can't answer it. They don't know what is the tech, how it works, or why to use it. They know how to configure things, but for the bigger job, you don't touch the tech anyway. So whoever this is, please do not get one certification per quarter. Once you get more than 3 quarters, people like me won't even interview you when we toss out your resume in the trash because we see you as a certification junkie and not a valuable player. I had someone I worked with, and here's what he said. Mike, when I see more than 3 certifications, I see a tech nerd, not someone that can solve my customers' problems, not someone that can help me. And please don't ever bring them to me to interview again, no matter how good they are. I don't want to waste my time with them. So please focus on your career. And I'm going to give you some really secret statistics. Did you know that people that have good business acumen skills on average earn over $549,000 per year? Did you know that people with good emotional intelligence earn $29,600 more per year? So you focus on that, and your career is going to skyrocket. You focus on certification, and you're going to have career stagnation. So, that's why I like to focus on the business acumen, the leadership, the sales, the executive presence. These are the statistics you need to know. Focus on building an elite career. Don't waste your time on certifications. Leave that for the people that are going to struggle. You focus on how to build your best life.
Makes sense.
You beat the timer. Good job. Let me turn off the timer to make sure it doesn't go off on me. All right, so Alonzo, you want to add anything to the multiple IT certifications resolution, or do you think we're?
I think we're good, but at the end of the day, when you have a stack of documents, is that a proper representation of what you know, or a proper representation of the exams you know how to pass? If I can say this, then they're probably wondering the same thing. Does this equate to your competency? And they have to struggle to figure that out. And so just consider that many people who have all these certifications, it doesn't mean that they still know how to do the job. It just means that they take tests very, very well. So you have to be the burden of proof, be the burden of your own proof to ensure that you're able to communicate that competency and do it well.
All right, so let's see here. Let's go with the next resolution. All right. So this next one is from someone who says that they want to successfully change careers in 6 months. Who wants to start with this one?
I'll start with it. It is completely possible.
Yeah.
But I read 1,000 pages a day to do it. Every day for 6 months. I had a very understanding wife. I basically told her we'd have 30 minutes a day to spend together, and that's it. And I did it. So yes, you can do it. And I have had students like Roman Van Tamba, who was a waiter, who's now working at AWS as a solution architect within 6 months. And not an associate solution architect, a real solution architect. And, you know, I've seen it, and it definitely can be done. But here's the thing. I don't know that it's necessarily realistic to say 6 months. I tell people 8 to 12 months if they work really hard, and that's a little more realistic. Putting just a hard time in the ground, I think you need a specific, measurable, achievable time, but it needs to be reasonable. And I don't know if 6 months is reasonable. You may be able to do it. Look, if you can lock yourself in a room, do a course like ours and do all the required reading and then literally do work, you know, and study 16 hours a day, yeah, you can do it. But if you've got life getting in the way, I don't think that it's necessarily realistic. And if you put unrealistic goals in front of you, when you don't get to the goal, you'll be angry and then you'll quit. So I think I create two kinds of goals: realistic goals and stretch goals. A realistic goal is I will change careers within 12 months. A stretch goal is I'll do it in 6. In that way, give yourself something that you know you can do, and fight to do it faster. I'm all for that, but you know, fight to do it faster. But yes, it's possible. It's truly possible. If you're not working, it's really possible. If you're an excellent reader, it's really possible. If you're a highly educated person with great reading skills, it's even more possible. But if it takes a little more time, just give yourself the time to do it. And it depends on the career you want to do. I mean, when I left healthcare and became a senior network engineer, and I did it in 6 months, you have to remember, I spent $40,000 in the process. I'm not joking. It cost me $40,000 back in 1996, which was like $120,000 in today's money. And I already had a master's degree, and I could read 1,000 pages a day. So yes, you can do it, but set yourself a realistic goal and then set yourself a stretch goal and fight every day to get there. So I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I want to chime in on this one. So I think you were talking about it. I think the importance with this resolution is having realistic expectations.
Yeah.
And anybody that works with me or has listened to me close enough, they'll know that I believe that setting expectations usually is setting yourself up for failure, because most people have unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
So that's, again, not to say that you can't do it in 6 months, but I think the best approach to this type of resolution is to see what your reality looks like in a week or a day or a couple of week period, and see if what you can allocate towards your goal will get you to 6 months, or if what you're able to allocate in that day or week or 2 week period on a regular, consistent basis results in a 9-month time period. Maybe you should consider adjusting your resolution to 9 months with, like Mike said, a stretch goal of 6 months. That's the important thing, because, and I don't know, we don't know, you may have done all the preparation and all this legwork, but we're just talking in general terms for the people on the channel, so that they can benefit from us discussing your resolution. It's really easy to throw out an arbitrary number like 6 months, or 12 months. But then once you start to look at what you're able to actually do, like me, I easily work 70, 80 hours a week. And so if I'm trying to do something else, like not that I'm looking for another job, but a lot of people realistically work 70 or 80 hours a week in some way, shape, or form. And then they try to put on top of that 20 hours a week worth of new development and new information and new all kinds of stuff, that's not realistic for a lot of people. Most people can't do that. I couldn't do that. So then that would get in the way of my arbitrary 6-month goal. It's like, oh, well, this is all I could actually do in reality. So I might not hit my 6-month goal. And then I get disheartened and I get discouraged because I've got this goal in my head and I'm not able to meet it because of this arbitrary thing that I've put in my way. So that's my 2 cents on these types of resolutions where people just, I want to lose 50 pounds or I want to trim 5 inches off my waistline or whatever it might be. It's a same concept. I want to do XYZ in 6 months. It's arbitrary numbers. Let's break it down to its simplest form of what can I do today, this week, the next 2 weeks, on a regular basis. What can I do to reach this goal? And then what does it look like? Does it look like 6 months? Maybe it looks like 3 months. Maybe it looks like 9 months. Maybe it looks like a cat behind Mike.
Oh, you can see her now.
Yeah, she's back there in the background.
Yeah, she is.
So that's my 2 cents about that resolution.
And do you want to pop on camera, beautiful?
Yeah. So, Alonzo, any thoughts on? Oh, it went away. Where'd it go? Any thoughts on the on those types of resolutions?
It's like you said, Chris said, it's like weight loss. I want to lose weight, but then you got a couple of holidays in between what you initiate versus what you want to do. You add on a pound or two, you get discouraged, you throw the whole resolution away. Break it down. It's all about that plan. You gotta, another friend of mine, another witty thing that they would say is plan your work your plan. So break it down into something that's reasonable. If you get sick or it throws you all off, then what's your other plan? What's your contingency plan? What's the plan that you can bake in within the plan? If I'm busy and I said I would do 2 hours of study time this week and something happens, bake in an additional 15 more minutes or 30 minutes on top of the following week and spread it out over time so that you can still maintain your initial plan. Or you may consider adding on additional time behind that overall 6 months, 6.5 months, 7 months. It's not about you reaching that destination, but ensuring that you have everything you need so that once that time elapse, you're going to be fully prepared and ready to go. I think they had said, I think Mike had talked about, I think Abe Lincoln had said how much time, I don't remember the actual time, but are you going to spend those 6 months over time focused on sharpening your axe or preparing? I don't know what the actual thing is, so I'm just going to leave that actual thing alone because I totally can't remember it. But it's all about preparation for that right stroke, for that right hit. And there you go. The wah, I deserve it. I totally deserve it. But at the end of the day, making sure you prepare, and focus on the outcome, not the distance that it takes to get there.
Exactly.
All right. All right. So before we get to the next resolution, Rico Suave, however you want to says, I'm 47 years young. I love it. Yes.
Yes, I love that.
Am I too late to the game? I feel like I still have a good punch in me to make a career change. So I'm going to pop a video in the chat box. I'm going to pop a link to a guy, and I'm going to let Alonzo and Mike talk for 1 minute. You get 1 minute, and that's it.
I'm going to talk about my friend Bob Welch.
Yeah.
He just turned 61, and he just got an amazing cloud architect job. It was a completely cloud security architect job. He was my student. I'm also going to talk about Sig Wolf, who was 61 years old. I've gotten people as young as Daniel Bosu, who didn't even have a high school diploma, hired at JP Morgan Chase is a cloud architect with 0 tech experience. And I've gotten people that are 63 years old like Sig Wolf. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to tell you this right now. It's a lot easier to get a better job when you're 50 than when you are 30, because here's the thing. Maybe you raised some kids. Maybe you were a manager at some point. Maybe you learned how to plan and execute. You got a couple of gray hairs on you, and all of a sudden people assume that you're more mature, more senior, and you make wiser decisions. Now, not necessarily, but when you're young, what you got to do is play to your energy, enthusiasm, and passion. When you're 47, you got to show that you still got it, but you've got some wisdom along the way. And that's actually a strength right now. People are actually looking for older workers, and they're very excited about older workers that are willing to work. So anybody can get hired, but don't worry about that. You can do it.
Totally agree.
They're keeping you to 2 minutes because of a vocal cord injury.
Yeah, I gave you 1 minute. I gave you 1 minute.
Yes, you did. Yeah, it's not your age, but it's your mental capacity to handle the job and be able to move forward. Utilize, Rico, your background, your experience, what you've done, what you've gone through, what you've gained, what you've lost, what you win, win and lose, gain and loss. I mean, these are compiled experiences that help you to apply and be resilient in your future cloud architect job. So there's no shame in being 47 years young. There's no shame in being who you are, how old you are, because those are the strengths that you can leverage far greater than those that are younger but successful, but you still can use those life experiences and apply those towards becoming a very, very successful and lucrative cloud architect.
And let me just touch on this for 1 other minute. Many jobs are the same. I used to practice internal medicine, okay? Here's what internal medicine is. Mrs. Patient, could you tell me what brings you in today? What's your problem? Mrs. Patient, can I ask you some questions? Sure. Mrs. Patient, can I examine you? Mrs. Patient, here's your diagnosis, and guess what? Here's your treatment plan. Now I'm an architect. Mr. Client, what's your business problem? Mr. Client, can I ask you some questions? Mr. Client, can I bring in some engineers to examine you? Mr. Client, here's your diagnosis, and Mr. Client, here's your treatment plan. Doctor, interview a patient. Architect, interview a client. Doctor, ask questions. Architect, ask questions. Doctor, do an exam. Architect, do an exam. Doctor, make a diagnosis. Architect, make a diagnosis. Doctor, make a plan called a prescription. Architect, make a plan called an architecture. So many of these jobs are the same, and we teach our students how to show the employers how their past job relates to their future job, and it helps them get hired every time.
All right. So let's see here. Let's get to another one of our New Year's resolutions. So this one's kind of a general resolution, and I see how they can be related, but it's just, this person's resolution is to be a good person, which could help me be a good cloud architect. So I'm not sure where to start with this one.
I'll add to something that I strongly feel. If you want an elite business career, you have to have honesty, integrity, and ethics. Somebody reached out to me and they're like, I want to buy your course. Do you think I can be an architect by studying 5 hours a week in 6 months? And my response was, no. I said, I don't think you understand the architect career. It gets paid as much as a doctor. And I showed him an $800,000 architect job and a close to $400,000 architect job at Google. And I said, you think you can learn this in 20 hours a month in 6 months? I said, you need to learn it. I said, our program's 500 hours plus the required reading. And that required reading and required work is a lot. It could be another 500 hours plus or more. But that's what it takes. So you need to have honesty and ethics. And here's the thing. I know people, they weren't honest and ethical. And here's what happened. They did something. They blew their name and nobody would ever talk to them ever again or hire them ever again. So you've got to have character. You have to have decency. You have to have honor and you have to have integrity. When someone says, should I buy this? I often say no. When we had an engineer and architect program and the architects say, can I buy your engineering program to be a better architect? And I'd say no, because it's going to make you a better engineer and a worse architect. So you have to have honesty, integrity, and ethics in what you do, and you'll never get to the cloud. And you can see my little cat cleaning herself right by the olive tree over there right now in the new thing. It's kind of cute, right? But that's really the key. The key is you must be honest and ethical. But being a good person and being a cloud architect are two different things. Be a good person for you. Be a good person and develop good, honest relationships and develop business relationships which will carry with you for your whole life. That's at least the way I look at it. And Cindy, you want to say hi to more people?
I can only imagine how happy it makes you that your cat comes in there with you now.
Yeah.
I'm so thrilled. He wouldn't come in my other office because there was too much tech in here. What I had to spend on this room is about as much as a Toyota Camry, but if my cat's in here, it's okay, and I'm so happy to have her here.
And she couldn't care less. She's just over there like, gotta keep myself clean. Gotta keep myself clean. I'm on TV
But
now.
just having her around me when my wife's not here is the best thing in the world for me.
All right. So let's see. Our next one. This is a lot. This is where things can go wrong.
I want to improve in consistency when it comes to all aspects of my life. Family time, fitness and career-wise, etc. I made a plan to be more intentional with my time. I want to be the best cloud architect. I guess I'll fill in those blanks. Well, consistency. You got to break down how can you be the most consistent, and the only way you can figure that out is prioritizing your life, what's important, and being able to start from there. Like, say, for instance, family time. I myself am a husband and a dad, so prioritizing time is essential. I love hanging out with these guys. I love hanging and strategizing on how we can be effective, of an effective business and an effective provider of outstanding content. But we also have to balance that between Chris, he's a married man. Mike is a married man, and and both of them are cat dads. So thinking about how you're going to prioritize that is key. So let's consider family time, fitness, and career wise. I'm always hoping that family time is number one, but between fitness and career, what needs to happen? Mike and myself, we try our very best during the day to bake in fitness time in between of that. I'm like, okay, dad, honey-do lists, things that we need to do. So if I have to, I'm in a meeting okay, let's go ahead and knock that out. But in between that meeting, if I have 20 minutes to knock out some push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, get on the ropes, I have a pull-up bar in my garage. However that makes sense to you, however you can prioritize to get that done, focus on your goals, prioritize those goals, come up with a plan to get those goals done, and then figure out how you can become a cloud architect based on those examples. So plan your work your plan, figure out what your priorities are, and then you can become that cloud architect. So it's all about some self-reflection on what's important to you, and then focus on how you can get all these things done.
I think if we look at what they've said here,
Okay.
and if we strip this down to be more intentional.
That's good.
With my time.
That's good.
I think that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I think that at the end of the day, I think that's what we're talking about here. It feels, when I read that, it felt like that word problem from math class in high school when there's all this superfluous information that doesn't get you anywhere, and you have to
dreaded word problems.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it boils down to be more intentional with my time.
Yeah.
That's because we got everything else around that is a result of being more intentional with my time.
Yeah.
So that's the key with this one. And so a lot of the people in our community probably know about us asking you for feedback about what you thought was your biggest obstacle towards reaching your career goals. And we asked that question last month. We had a lot of people respond, and over 25% of the people that responded said time or time management was their biggest obstacle. So I'm not surprised to see this resolution pop up because this is something that a lot of people have trouble with, and even I have trouble with it. I know we got trouble with it sometimes here because we got so many things that we want to accomplish. But being intentional with your time, that takes dedication and consistency and planning, kind of right in line with the things that we were talking about earlier. But that's the thing that stood out to me here. I don't really have much to add to it, add to what Alonzo was saying. I want to hear what Mike has to say, but that's what stood out to me when I was reading this one, that piece in the middle, being more intentional with my time. That's the resolution here, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And I agree with that. And that's why, I don't even have Instagram. Maybe I have it. I don't even know, but I've never been to it. I don't go to TikTok. I don't watch really TV because I have very limited time. But, Alonzo has an MBA and Chris has an MBA. At your graduation, did they thank your spouse or your parents or your significant other there?
Did they what?
Did they thank your
Oh, yeah.
your spouse or your significant other or your parents?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And here's why they did it. The dean when I'm an undergraduate, his name was Peter Dukas, and there was a Savas when I graduated my master's degree the second time. And he said, first and foremost, before we get to any of the students and the hard work they've done, I want to thank the family members because you've sacrificed to get people through. You've sacrificed time with your loved ones. You've had to sacrifice this and you've had to sacrifice that. So the point is you can't do everything. So, I have to exercise because with my reflex sympathetic dystrophy, if I don't, I won't be able to walk. So guess what? I've got 1,000 square feet of gym space in my house. And if I was in a different position, I would be doing jumping jacks and push-ups and battle ropes and sandbags in my house. Because the time it would take to drive back and forth to the gym would be the limited time that I would have to exercise. So that's purposeful and more intentional. But you need to have a family that understands when you're going to accomplish something great, you're not going to have as much time to do normal things. So the key is make sure that your time counts. Spend quality time with your family because you're going to have less of it. You can't spend all your time in 10 different things and manage to be successful. You have to prioritize. So I love this. Be more intentional with your time. Get your fitness in. When I went to, this is pathetic, but I went to 2 universities full time and had a full-time job. That was the only time in my life that I got out of shape because MBA's one place, master's degree somewhere else in something completely different, work full-time as a firefighter paramedic. There was no other way to do it. I just had no choice. So be intentional. I love that. Pick your most important goal and focus most of your efforts on what you want most. Because it's the same thing, an Olympic gymnast, guess what? They're doing gymnastics and gymnastics conditioning all day long. And when they're not doing the gymnastics conditioning, they're getting massages. They're not out running around. They're resting their bodies. They're eating the right foods. So when you've got big goals, be more intentional with your time, but prioritize your time and focus on the things that matter most.
Totally agree.
Yeah, and that's something that we definitely talk about it within our program. We've got Dr. Johnson and Dr. Long from the University of Tennessee who came in and did a lesson on time management for our students.
Absolutely. They're fantastic, by the way.
We're definitely big on the time management. We understand that time management is a huge piece of anyone's success. So sorry, I decided to start fidgeting with a little tie over here. If you wonder what I'm doing,
hey, you bring that over here. Cindy loves those things. She
I know. That's
them with her hands, chase them around, put them in her mouth, carry them into a box.
Yeah.
We bought her a bed, but she sleeps on me anyway, so you don't see her there.
Yeah. All right. So our next one is pretty short. Our next one is practice gravitas.
I love that.
Is Cindy going to show us how to do some gravitas?
Cindy, you want to come in here? You want to show how?
She's in the palm tree. She's in the palm tree.
She's in the palm tree now. And you can see the tail now. I'm so happy that this investing in this office got my cat to come spend time with me.
Yeah. All right. So I'll let Mike speak towards the practicing gravitas. But this is one of those resolutions. It's what's the end look like? What is the measurement of reaching this resolution? I can practice gravitas. How do I measure have I reached my resolution? So whoever shared this, that's something that you need to keep in mind. What's your measurement of accomplishing your resolution? Is it I've convinced someone to do XYZ based on my presentation skills, or what might it look like? So, but I'd love to hear what Mike has to say with this one.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I always go back to Daniel Bosu because I love this kid so much. He's 20 years old, working at JP Morgan Chase. And in one of my classes initially, he says, Mike, no one takes me seriously. It's like I walk into the room in a place and everybody looks past me. And we did talk about his clothes that he was choosing and his posture, what he was choosing, and his vocal tone. And then he's like, Mike, everywhere I go now, everybody takes me seriously. So, specific, measurable, achievable, results-oriented, time-based goals. In 6 months from now, I would like to walk into a room and have everybody know that I'm a leader. That's a specific thing. I would go in there and every day and practice speaking, practice gesturing, practice changing your vocal tone, practice, taking up more space. I would do it every day. I would do it in front of people constantly. And do I have more presence now? Do you notice me? Here, look, watch. Hi, my name's Mike Gibbs. Did I tell you that I have 25 years experience in technology?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to work. But now, I'm granted, I'm like reclined on my cool chair here, but I'm Mike Gibbs. I've got 25 years experience designing customer architectures to improve their business performance. I've led $1 billion vertical. I've worked on $1 billion architectures. Now all of a sudden you're taking me seriously.
Yeah.
And notice in one case I got really small and I was monotone thing. So yes, practice presenting every single day. I love that. But watch what happens. Are more people gravitating towards you? Are they taking you more seriously? Do you walk into a restaurant and they see you when they run right over to you? If walk into a Nordstrom or a Bloomingdale's, and do they pass by you? Or do they run right over you? Because if you've got gravitas, they're going to run right over to you.
Right.
And if you don't, they're not going to. I remember when my manager said, you don't have enough gravitas like 20 some years ago. And I'd walk into a Bloomingdale's to buy a suit. I'd be there for 30 minutes and nobody paid attention to me. And then I had some executive coaching and poof, I walked into a store and the 3 or 4 sales reps were trying to attack me like each one wanted a commission. And I could have been in the dirtiest, dingiest clothes. And I usually was. I'd go straight from the gym because the gym was across the street from the mall. I'd go run in there and it was like, how can I help you? So, there's that. And at one point, it was really hilarious. I was catering to one of the world's largest banks in the world, designing a voice and data and video system for them. And I was at the gym across the street. And one of the executives said, Mike, I need to see you now. And I said, I'm at the gym. And he said, I got board members here. I got these people here. I need to talk to you right now. So I went in there and made a joke about my experience. And poof, guess what? They were thrilled to hear from me. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Practice it every day. I love that.
Right. You beat the timer again there, Mike. Nice job.
Who is this guy?
All right.
My cat's here. I'm all kinds of happy.
Oh, man. All right.
I really do love the cat that I bought for my wife.
The cat you bought for your wife.
Yeah. I think that's the story now. I don't know if I believe
it really was. I bought this cat for my wife. She's cat obsessed. She's got cat calendars and stuffed cats. And I was always a person that loved a Belgian Malinois or a German Shepherd or a Golden Retriever. They were my 3 favorite animals. I went to the cat rescue. There was a Golden Retriever, but I was like, I have to get this. I have to get this cat for my wife. Within 24 hours, I think I fell in love with my cat.
All right. So our next resolution, I kind of like this, and I'm going to tell you why. My New Year's resolutions are a few things: become AWS SAA certified, and become CCNA certified, and become a cloud professional. So I like this for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
I got a feeling they may be in the program. And the reason I think they may be in the program is because there's specifically 2 certifications listed.
Yes. No more.
No more. So I like this. If those certifications are a part of your total development plan
yes.
of competency. So I like that. I do like that. Let me check. Let me look at this email here. Give me just a second. Let me see. Don't recognize the email right off the bat, but if this is a resolution from someone that's in the program following our guidance, that's the right path to be on.
I still have a problem with it. It says
Okay.
cloud professional, and I don't know what that means. Is it a DevOps engineer? Is it a software engineer? Is it a cloud architect? Is it a solution architect? Is it an enterprise architect?
I was thinking the same
Yeah.
thing.
So this is someone that's enrolled in our cloud architect career development program, but we have that information because I know that. But it's important for that person to be specific for themselves.
Yes.
You don't want to become a cloud professional. You want to become a cloud architect.
Right. We can't assume. Yeah.
So for you have to have it for yourself. You're not working to become a professional. You're working to become a cloud architect. Professional is vague. Professional is any cloud career. It's professional. It's an industry. It's a role. So.
Yeah. As I'm reviewing, I'm thinking it may be Omar B. I think he said he meant to say cloud architect, but if that's the case, then okay, guess not. So
Omar B did get in here, and he was not specific, but I'm glad that he clarified for you.
And I agree with Chris on everything else, but I think you really need to know what you want to be.
Yes.
Because a cardiologist and does one job, and an orthopedic surgeon does something different. And the biggest challenge we see, and I've seen in interviewing people for over 25 years, is they don't know what they want to be. So they learn a little of everything, and ultimately we can't hire them. So be focused on what your career is. Otherwise, I think it's a great thing.
Okay, yeah, Omar, that is you. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Come on, Omar. You know what you want to be. We've seen you in class.
Omar's rock solid too.
Yeah, you know what you want to be. Be specific. Sorry, and Mike knows this about me, and Alonzo, and it probably drives them crazy. I'm different for specificity.
Yes.
But the only reason being is because if you are not specific, that is a form of poor communication, and poor communication leads to misunderstanding.
Chris is so specific, he will not be sure of what you're saying. If you're spelling the word ice and you don't dot that I, he's going to bring it back to you. So he wants to make sure that you're talking about what you're talking about. So, there's
a reason behind it. There's 15 years of professional experience behind it.
Yes.
Imagine the lack of specificity in building hotels. I have gone into hotels where entire rooms, the electrical in the bathroom is 3 feet off of where it's supposed to be for 76 rooms. And I go to the electrician. I say, hey,
gotta take them all out.
Here's you did not follow the specifications. You have to come up with a solution to solve this. The electrical's already been run. The walls have already been closed up, and you have to figure this out
without screwing up the project management plan, time, budget, and everything else. So,
and then there's another one where every single wall in every single room was 6 inches off.
Ooh.
I'm just like, come on, people, specifics. So anyway, I am a stickler for specific. So Omar, be specific, man. Come on.
So Chris doesn't go well with acronyms either. So
no, I do not.
Neither do I.
Me either.
But it goes back to, if you're not specific, it leaves room for interpretation, ambiguity. If you're not specific for yourself and you don't set specific goals for yourself and specific timeframes, specific measurements, specific anything, that's just a weakness in your plan that can lead to a bulge that will then lead to a failure in the wall. And the floodgates open up and you don't reach your goal.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to get off my high horse. There's a couple of things that I'm high horses on. It's specificity and then allowing time for yourself so you don't work yourself in the ground. They're two things. So, all right.
Totally agree.
So, other than that, good resolution here. You are specific on your goals, on your certifications. We know you're working on your competency. That's for sure.
Yes, we know.
And everybody that's watching on YouTube, if you're in our program and you're wondering how we know that Omar is working towards his progress and competency, it's because he takes part in the live classes. So if you're able to take part in the live classes, even if it's only for a few minutes. Just take part in the live classes. That's how I know that Omar is a rock star. And how
I've seen him participate. He's terrific.
Yes.
So, all right, get off my high horse. All right, let's see here. And he likes your background.
Thank you, Omar.
All right, next one. Okay. All right, this one. Let me see what the role was that this one indicated. Okay. All right. This is from a cloud architect. Their desired career is a cloud architect, solution architect.
Okay.
Their New Year's resolution is to learn Linux more efficiently, particularly scripting, and to spend more time on cloud projects to build up my skills and knowledge and stick to learning one resource at a time. If I wasn't, I realized that this runs out of space. If I wasn't unemployed, I would consider your course. I took the SAA exam once, and I will book the SAA exam once I am confident enough to take it. Okay, a couple of things there.
Yes, a lot to unpack.
There's a lot of things in there.
Let's unpack this first part. Let me edit this because this is a two-parter. I didn't realize it was. I didn't realize it got cut off. Okay. All right. Their goal is to be a solution architect or cloud architect.
Oh, this is troubling in a lot of ways to me.
They're not in our program, so this is an opportunity for.
Yes.
So let me give you some coaching. Cloud architects do no scripting ever. So if you learn the skills of somebody else's job, you won't be a cloud architect. Cloud architects do not touch the technology. We design it, we present it, and we sell it. We ask the customer about their business goals, their business needs, their business pain points. We interview the C-level executives, the VPs, the directors, the hiring managers, and even the ground level workers. We respond to RFIs, RFPs, RFQs, requests for information, requests for proposals, requests for quote or proposals. We write thought leadership documents. We present at conferences. We write white papers, which are papers designed to sell and influence others. We negotiate business deals. We lead teams of engineers. We basically design it, build a blueprint, and then somebody else does this stuff. So if you learn Linux, guess what? And you go on a cloud architect interview or solution architect interview, they're going to say, I need an architect, not a Linux person. Now, the next thing is if you build cloud projects, you will learn absolutely nothing of cloud architecture. And that's why we have to retrain all the people that took all these learn by doing certifications, because if you're going to design a hotel that's 1,000 meters tall, which is what an architect does, the architect doesn't know how to learn, doesn't worry about learning how to use a hammer or a saw, because architects don't build. We don't touch the tech, we design it. So real cloud architect knowledge is how do you design? How do you design a system that has 20,000 remote locations? How do you traffic engineer your things? How do you optimize business performance? So unfortunately, by doing this, you're never going to be a cloud architect. You may learn how to be a cloud admin this way. And if that's your goal, that's fine. But architects design, present, and sell. Now, saying you're unemployed and not buying our program, I have to deal with this from a business perspective. It took me $40,000 of money that I didn't have to get my first network engineer job. $40,000. Now, why did I do it? Because I wanted a job. I have a $325,000 education. Anthony and I from my team, I thought it was only $250,000, but we calculated it was $325,000 a year. If you don't get the education, you'll still be unemployed. So, you know, the average cloud architect earns $800 a day, average. If I charge $20,000 for this course, which would be nothing, for a person that earns on average $199,000 a year per 8 hours. So if I charge $20,000 for this course, in 40 days, guess what? You'd have all your money be back and have wealth for the rest of your life. So I took student loans when I didn't have money to attend school. In the early 90s, 1991, when I earned $8.50 an hour, I paid $9,000 a year of tuition, which I had to work really hard for, and I paid about $1,200 a year for books because they were medical books. And that was what it took for me to go to school. So my recommendation is whether you train with us or whether you get an MBA or you go somewhere, spend some money on education, because if you don't, you'll continue to be unemployed. What's really the choice? $800 a day by paying for some training, or being stuck unemployed and hoping that in a year or two you can do this? And if it takes you a year or two to learn the business acumen, the leadership, sales skills, executive presence, and honestly, I don't think you can do it on your own. It cost me an MBA and an additional $100,000 of leadership training and an additional close to $50,000 to $100,000 of tech training to be able to do this job well. And I know most people can't afford that. And that's why we created our program at the lowest cost we could. If I didn't have that, it was there. You know, my CCIE, so it cost me $40,000 to get my first job. My CCIE cost me $7,000. And with my CCIE salary, I paid it back in about 4 months. So I'm big into investing in education. Now, what am I not big on? Investing in the cable TV. Not at all. That's an expense you can get rid of. What am I not big on? Going out to restaurants. You can lose those expenses too. What am I not big on? I drive a car. I pay for it in cash, and I'll drive that thing until it dies, no matter how much money I have, just because I don't like wasting money. But what am I always willing to spend on and invest on? My family, health, and education. How about you, Alonzo or Chris? Alonzo, what'd your education cost you?
$150, easy.
Yeah. And that's in hundreds of thousands. That's $150,000, right?
Yeah, $150,000 minimum. When you think about the degrees, the multiple degrees that I have, then you think about the training that I had put on top of that. So it's never added into just university or anything of these other type of training. It's about how you continue to add these layers of competency towards you being and becoming that goal that you want to achieve. Yeah. So to that point, definitely, I'm just thinking about, is there anything else that we can discuss based on this post, Chris? Is there anything more that you can post for us on here? To stick to one learning resource at a time. Now it goes back, like you said, stick to one resource at a time. So that requires discipline. It requires focus. First thing when it comes to learning a resource is vetting that resource, making sure that that resource is giving you everything you need, providing you with only what you need, and be able to frame a way of you reaching that goal from point A to point B. And if you weren't employed, you were considered the course. Myself, I can provide an example along with everyone else. A lot of people that are here, they are working as well. And not to belittle anything that you're doing, but it's all about prioritizing. It's all about, just like I saying as a father and as a professional and as a husband and so forth, ensuring that you have and manage your time. Come up with a reasonable time that you can commit to the program. And like case in point, there are people, it will probably be 1:19 in the morning here, where they are, versus us having it's 6:19 my time, 7:19 Chris and Mike's time. So there's a lot of people who are sacrificing, they're planning, they're dedicating, they're shifting one thing for another to be able to make this happen. So it's possible for you to do this. So it's all about you really looking at what you sent us as a resolution, prioritizing what's important to you, and being able to plan that work your plan so that you can come out of this as a successful person. What about you, Chris? I'm not sure if you touched on it, but wanted to definitely hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so I think the only thing that I really have to add to it is the end, the booking the exam once I'm confident enough to take it. So confidence is a big thing. a lot of people experience a lack of confidence, and like imposter syndrome or whatever phrase you want to give it. But the biggest problem that most people encounter with this confidence issue is that they're trying, they usually fall into the trap of judging themselves against people that are already there. It's like a high school athlete or an amateur athlete comparing themselves to a professional soccer player at Manchester United. It's like it's not applicable.
Yeah.
So the confidence is really key. So when you're trying, I got to figure out how to make this one make sense. I was going to say when you're trying to figure out if you're confident, that's not going to work. So if you're trying to figure out if you have the competency or if you have the knowledge, don't judge yourself against anyone else. Judge yourself against you and the knowledge that you should have at this given time for the SAA certification.
Yeah.
Not the level of competency or knowledge that you should have of a cloud architect, because the SAA certification is not the knowledge or competency of a cloud architect. So don't get it in your mind that you've got to have all this exhaustive knowledge. You truly just have to have the knowledge for that certification exam.
Yeah.
The best way to gauge your preparedness for that is with practice exams.
Exactly.
There's lots of practice exams. I mean, we talk about how we are not big proponents of certifications alone by themselves. That doesn't mean that there's not a place for certification.
Exactly.
So when you're utilizing certifications to judge your preparedness for it, use practice exams. There's free practice exams out there. There's some inexpensive practice exams out there from places like Andrew Brown's Exam Pro.
Excellent resource.
There's some inexpensive ones from
Review and Prep.
Review and Prep. Thank you. There's inexpensive ones out there. And unfortunately, there's literally entire meals out there that can help you prepare for a certification. You're not going to learn anything from them, but but they're out there. So, but again, going back to the confidence issue that a lot of people end up having is because they're judging themselves inaccurately. So I just wanted to address that quickly because it is
great points, Chris.
The confidence issue.
Very smartly done, Chris. And there's people like Delroy Bad who have got an incredible cloud security architect job, but 0 certifications whatsoever because there's competency. But the certification will not get you a job. The certification may help you get an interview, but it's the competency and all those things that we talked about that's going to get you hired. So make sure you've got the competency and you get it somewhere. Like I said, we can give it to you. You can get it from an MBA program and a whole bunch of other things, but get the competency.
I guess people are putting in what time it is where they are. I'm like, what is?
I know we have Tyrone in South Africa.
I'm like, what is 0020? And I'm like, oh, it's like 12:20. Okay.
And Tyrone's in South Africa, so that should be 12:30 plus 2, I think. So that's 2:24 in the morning for Tyrone, who's part of our team, but he's an amazing guy. So
yes, he is.
That's Will.
Yeah. All right. And I know Chow was here earlier, but she sent me a message saying she's leaving because she's going to study. So good job, Chow.
Chow, we love you, and we love that you're studying more and more and more. That's why we're so proud of you.
Yep. All right. So I did. Hey, Bob Welch, how you doing? Happy New Year. Hey, Bob. We had somebody. Hey, Bob, I'm going to put up a question here on the screen from you. We've already answered it, but I just want you to say a couple of things in the chat box for Rico Suave here. Like I said, we already answered it, Bob, but here's Rico Suave's question from earlier. And you can put some stuff in the chat box. Rico says, I'm 47 years young. Am I too late for the game? I feel like I still have a good punch in me to make a career change. So, Bob, if you want to Robert Welch, Bob, if you want to share some things in the chat box there for Rico and anyone else that has those questions. We mentioned you earlier when he brought that question up. We mentioned you. We mentioned Sig. So we shared the video for Does Age Matter? But I figured I saw you pop in. We'll let you we'll let you say some things in the chat box there about your experience and your age and how that helped or hindered or hampered or didn't do any of the above. So, all right. Now, also, I put a link in the chat box. I'm also going to put the link back in the chat box again. But if you want us to address, if you want us to take a shot at your New Year's resolutions again next week, we are more than willing to do it if we get some people that share their New Year's resolutions with us. Just share your New Year's resolution at the link that I just put in the chat box again, and we'll take a shot at it next week if we get enough of them.
Definitely.
And before we move on, Bob Welch, who we know I have the ton of respect for, he decided at 60 years old he was going to do a back handspring, which is a backflip, and he did it. Which, I don't recommend many people do that, but that shows how strong-minded he is and how capable he is, and the fact that we can all do anything if we try.
Yep. All right, so let's see.
Proud of you, Bob.
Let's see here. Okay. All right, so this one says that their resolution is to improve my communication skills, get cloud hired, and be a blessing to my family and to the world. That is a great New Year's resolution.
I love that.
I love it.
Yeah.
That makes me smile. That makes me happy. That just makes me happy in every way, shape, or form.
Now, how are we going to get there? That's the key. Bob just put in there, lose 30 pounds. I have pictures of that backflip. So I'm guessing. I'm just going to do a little correlation here. Bob, do not correct me. I don't want to be corrected. Just let me go. Let me have my moment. I'm guessing your goal was to lose 30 pounds, and you set your measurement of being able to do a backflip as your measurement for success, or your drive to do it. I could be wrong. Don't correct me though. But yeah. So how are we going to improve your communication skills? How are you going to get cloud hired? What are we going to put in place? What are you going to do? I love the be a blessing to my family and to the world.
Me too.
So going back to the planning and the sticking to a plan. That is the. Bob says he's going to do another backflip at 70. All right, Bob.
Bob, I love that. Keep at it.
You heard it here.
Wait to see the video.
January 3rd, 2023.
But only if you feel like you're up to it. Chris, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Yeah. All right. So I love this New Year's resolution. It's a good one. Anybody want to chime in on it?
I think it says it all. I love that. It shows your willingness, your sacrifice, your focus on your family, the fact that you want us to help you to get cloud hired and you want to change the world. There's nothing else to say. I love it.
Me too. I love it. Chris, you're muted.
I'm just talking to myself over here.
Oh, that works too. I do that all the time.
I'm actually trying to throw you guys a wild card.
That's going to be fun.
So, all right. So this was a New Year's resolution. I didn't select it earlier, but I've decided to select it now. So you guys love me. It's cool. Let's see. Here we go. I don't know why I didn't select this one earlier. So this one, it's an interesting one. Complete the coursework by the end of March, and then work on CCNA an AWS Solution Architect Professional Certificate by the summer.
Okay, I have to address this.
See, I'm surprised nobody else picked this one out of our list.
I picked it, I saw it, and it upset me, so I wasn't going to address it. Complete the coursework and stay in the course until you're hired. Nobody cares about these 2 certifications other than the certification providers. Delray Bat got hired with 0 certifications. Bob Welch, who's got a great job, and I know his job, had a cloud practitioner. If you complete the course and then stop the course to go work on silly certifications, what's going to happen is you're going to forget how to do the job, and then you're going to be certified, and you'll be unemployable. So please stay in the course. Yes, have the goal of completing the course by March, and then continue to come to class, participate in the class, and do these certifications while you're working hard to be a better architect. Participate in class. Be one of the presenters in class. Be one of the leads in class. Help others in class. See it, do it, teach it. That's how doctors learn. But please, don't stop your education and then go focus on something. Mark Twain said, I love Mark Twain, don't let your education get in the way of your training.
Yeah.
So stay in the course until you're hired. We don't kick you out at like 16 weeks like people that charge you $35,000 and say goodbye. We don't care about you. We've just taken your money. I'm not trying to kick you out. I want you to stay in my course. I don't want you to get hired. So please stay in the course until you're hired. Any of you guys have anything comment on that?
Oh, I got it. Yeah. Alonzo, go, Alonzo.
I think a lot of people, I think we need to change that mindset. This is a development course, not a boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no, you come in the door. It's not like a proverbial car wash. You're dirty. You want to go out the other end clean over a set amount of time. We want you to be competent. We want you to be focused. We're trying to convert and transform your way of thinking, your way of processing, your way of understanding, transforming how you communicate and to what audiences you're communicating to, and in a way that's palatable, welcoming, accepting, and even inspiring, hence the gravitas as a cloud architect. You think you're going to learn all that overnight or a specific set of time? No, this is not a boot camp where you're going to checklist criteria that you would get in a certification. We're trying to transform lives, and it takes preparation. And I don't know if anyone's familiar with the original 6 Ps, but what we do is that we help people understand that proper preparation prevents pretty poor performance. Understanding that it takes time, it takes preparation, it takes learning the competency. This is not you checking a list and saying, okay, I'm at the hiring manager. These are the things that I know that they're going to want, like it's some sort of exam. You have to understand, you have to be competent in understanding how you can communicate this competency to the hiring managers that they want to hire you. This takes time. So don't create this or mentally prepare yourself incorrectly as this is some sort of race. It's not. We want to get you done and prepared right, and that takes time. Chris, tell me what you think.
Well, so
oh boy.
All right.
Oh boy.
We gotta work on some messaging here. So the goals that you have listed to do after the program are things that you should be able to do as a result of the program.
Yes.
So in our program, and I know you've been in our program for quite a while, so we definitely need to we need to work on this. So, I'm not sure if there's a time issue, like a level of outside commitments and obligations, whatever. We know there's life. We get it. So I'm not sure where we stand, but the program is you setting up your development plan. That is that is 50% of the program. The other 50% is coming to classes and doing the labs and watching videos. But 50% of it is you coming up with your development plan, which should include these certifications as part of your overall life, but not certifications as I'm going to get the certification, but certifications as I'm going to learn the competency that's associated with these certifications. Like I'm going to learn the competency that is reflected, that's supposed to be reflected in me achieving these certifications. That's so completing the course and then working on getting these certifications is not that. There's a disconnect there. So you're completing the course should be in progress to you being able to get your CCNA and your AWS certification.
Yeah.
As a result of you having studied and familiarized yourself with these technologies and these competencies and this information. It's not one or the other, or this or that, or it's not an apple and an orange. It's an apple and an apple pie. So I hope that made sense. But and I see this every once in a while, is that there's a disconnect between people realizing that part of the program is them preparing. Like if I was signed in right now and had the document in front of me that the steps to success in your professional development plan cover this. Like these are the things that should be included in your professional development and your certification plan. The completing the course is not something you don't complete the course in a week.
No.
You might complete all the videos and you might mark every assignment complete.
But that's not complete.
The program is your development. So that's my 2 cents on here.
And I want to make this clear. It costs money to keep students in our program. We could be in it and say, here, we've collected your money, get out. We're trying to say stay in the program, meaning we're increasing our costs because we want you to be successful. Now, you do have to listen to our guidance to be more successful. I remember Daniel came and he stopped, he did some stupid AWS Certified Solution Architect Professional course, and he says, Mike, I'm ready to get hired. I completed my development plan. And I asked him, how do you design this? And he didn't know anything. And I said, what'd you learn this? And I said, it's all wrong. Now I need you to forget every stupid thing you learned in that course. And now I need you to start her from scratch and retrain you. And he did. And he didn't make my life easy. I gave him a paper to write. He fought me on writing it. He turned in something that was terrible. And I knew the key was he was strong. I sent it back to him, I think, 14 times. And on the 14th time, he said, is it ever going to be right? I said, well, it took me 96 times to get my Fresh Thought Leadership paper correct. You got a lot to go. And instantly, the next thing that came back was meticulous. And I said, now do you know what it takes? Now do you understand the research? Now do you understand this? He participated in every class. We spoke many times, and at the end of it, he got hired. But the key is you got to focus on it. We're trying to make sacrifices to help you, but please follow our directions. For example, there was one person in our course, and she's super smart and super capable. I dedicated a course to building her resume and her LinkedIn profile. And then she fixed it by adding all these cutesy little green check marks and all these cute little things on top of it. Now, the reality is that for these are $200,000 jobs, they're executives. They don't want those little things. They remind you of a creative young person. They're looking for an executive. So please follow our guidance. Please come to class. Please remember what the job is. It's an executive. Please make sure that you focus on being executive, looking like an executive, walking and talking like an executive, while still maintaining your own individuality, because that's important too. But stay in the program until you're hired. We want you hired.
Oh. All right. So let's see. All right. So we've got another one here. Kind of like this one.
That's a very specific.
I like
Exactly.
that.
It's a
I
very
like
specific-
that.
it's
To the
very-
point.
Yep. To become
Totally
a
reasonable.
solution architect earning $210,000.
Fine.
That,
Not a hard thing
that is
to do.
measurable. Like, all right, here's my measurement of success. Okay. Thank
Totally
you.
reasonable. Now make
Yep.
sure you follow the right plan or get the right training to get there. You might already
Yes.
be doing that, but that is a perfect goal.
Yep.
The only thing that would be better is if you had a time oriented by 2024.
Yep.
And with the proper resources.
But I like that.
Got a
Great.
feeling our New Year's resolution thing is turning into a SMART goal class here.
Well,
you just
dream
said specific and measurable. And
the
I'm
goal
like,
without a
okay.
plan is just a dream.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Let me see here.
If I could just write down my plans, I'd be all kinds of dangerous. I write them down.
All right. Here's one. To become better each day, wake up and be better than yesterday.
I like that.
I
I
do.
love to know what you want to be better at. How do you want to be better? When you want to be better. We already know that, and where you want to be better. If we got specificity, I never could get that word right, but you know what I mean? We need to know, we need a plan. It's just like GPS. It's like, okay, you want to get somewhere. How? You go left, you go right, you get on the freeway, you stop at the airport, you get a flight, you have to go and do a layover. We need details. You need details so that you can better architect your life the same way you would architect a solution for a client. They're looking for details. They want to know step by step, how is this going to be possible, and how you're going to be able to communicate the possibilities and the benefits of this. And it's the same way you can apply it with your own life. What about you guys?
I got a lot on this one. A lot.
That's why I stopped short, because I knew people, I knew you guys would have more
I'm going to add the specificity to Chris, but each day I try to get better at one or two things every single day. For me, given the injuries that I have and the fact that all the doctors told me I never walk again, each day for me is trying to improve my physical performance every single day. And each day I always try to spend time to figure out how we can take our already award-winning program and make it better. Because I don't want to be just known as the number one. I want to change lives in every single part of the world, at every company in the world. And I want to take the elite and the best and make it even better, because it's me. I'm obsessed with making things the best it can be. So I'll give it to you, Chris.
Okay. So, two things. One thing, there's a book called Atomic Habits that is great for this. Second thing, completely unrelated to Atomic Habits, because I'm not in any way, shape, or form gonna do Atomic Habits credit by trying to talk about the Atomic Habits. This is just me. The second thing. To become better each day, wake up and be better than yesterday. Okay. Alonzo already hit the how, the why, like the what. What are we going to do? How? So let's keep it simple. How am I going to be better? I'm going to find something that I'm not doing that I know I should be doing, like making my bed. And I already know some people got ideas about a book. But simple things. You wake up, make your bed. You wake up, don't lay in your bed. Don't just lay there and play on your phone for 15 minutes. You wake up, maybe you do lay there for a few minutes, but lay there with yourself in your head, and then you're just kind of like just with your own thoughts, not on a phone, not on a book, not on anything. And then you get up and you make your bed. Then you clean up any mess that you might have left over the night before in your house, which, if you've reached your goal of becoming better, eventually there won't be a mess left over from the night before. But if we're starting off simple like I did once upon a time, there's going to be that leftover stuff from the night before that you got to clean up.
Yeah.
But start off simple. Make the bed. Focus on that. Get the bed made. Get it to where you're making the bed all the time. Then, it's second nature. I'm making the bed. Next thing you know, you're going to add something else to it. You're going to go in there and I'm going to tell my wife I love her and how beautiful she is and how amazing she is, and give her the appreciation and attention that she deserves, that I've probably been taking for granted and neglecting for a while, and don't sell her like I'm supposed to. So then I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to do it. Now I'm making my bed and telling my wife how much I love her and appreciate her and how amazing she is. Now I'm doing these two things. And now I'm 200% better than I was 2 weeks ago. Now I add something else to it. Then I add something else to it. And then I add something else to it. And then I add something else to it. And then I add something. But you can't do it all at once. You can't be better at everything all at once. If you try to be better at everything all at once, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
You're going to fail miserably. You're going to be discouraged. You're going to stop. It's just like the whole resolution thing. If you come up with some arbitrary metric for your resolution and there's no plan, and you haven't taken into consideration that you're wanting to lose weight, but Thanksgiving and Christmas are coming up, and you know it's not going to be possible, and you're like, oh crap. But yeah, so that's my 2 cents on the if I'm gonna work towards something as big as that.
Yeah.
As big as becoming better.
That's a lifelong thing. Yeah.
You gotta start simple. Like if you saw my desk right now, if my resolution was to be cleaner, I failed. But I could start off simple. Like I got Coke cans. I got pieces of mail that are 2 weeks old that I'm not. Then I've got napkins here. It's like, okay, well, all right. Every time I finish a drink, I'm going to throw it away. I'm not going to wait till the end of the day and throw all my drinks away at the same time. Oh, there's this mail that's been opened and I've discarded, but it's still on my desk. Throw it away. There's this napkin from when I was eating lunch. It's still here. Throw it away. I know that's very minuscule, but that's just one example.
It sure is.
Yeah. So, but I do not have a goal of being cleaner. So I'm doing okay.
I had that goal. Remember, Chris, what my old office used to look like?
Yeah, no.
And then I sent you a photo of what it was after I changed it.
Yep.
Well, it's been the same way at this point. Oh, by the way, little furry friend's back, but I don't know if she's on that side. But that's the key. It was like one day I woke up and said, "No more. This clutter is getting in the way. It's driving me batty." And just even 1% a day at the end of the month is 30%.
Yep. And like I said, I just used a simple example of the start. It doesn't even have to be the start. It could be when you get home at the end of the day, and don't just come in and throw your stuff on the ground and lay on the couch. Come home, put your stuff where it's supposed to be, and then find the productive thing that's going to help your family out, and do that. Yeah. Whatever that might be. So those are just simple little things. It doesn't have to be massive, big changes right away. Little things accumulate. It's what's that? There's a law. There's a mathematical law or something. I can't remember.
Pareto?
I can't remember. It's like the small thing. The more small things that you do, you get to. I can't remember what it is. I'm gonna have to look this up. It's digging in my brain right now.
Is this a one moment, Chris?
Yeah. It is. I'll do it.
No worries.
I'll do it to myself. All right. So, well, we do need to wrap up the show. One of our New Year's resolutions here at Go Cloud Careers is to be more consistent and timely. Our Head in the Cloud show is a 2-hour show. You may not have realized that last year. But our Head in the Cloud show is a 2-hour show that is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time. our Q&A sessions are supposed to be 1 hour Q&A sessions. Speaking of which, there'll be a Q&A session tomorrow for 1 hour at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Our classes are supposed to be 2 hours. We got really good about that last year. So now we're going to improve this year.
Yeah, Chris got us a lot better. They were running 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
We were just having so much fun. We kept going.
So that's I'm calling it now. Our New Year's resolution as a company is to be more consistent on our times for our live streams so that we can take better care of ourselves. So with that being said, I know we've got some New Year's resolutions that people have shared with us tonight that we will be addressing next week. So join us next week. We'll do another week of talking about New Year's resolutions, which I got a feeling they're probably going to border on the line of SMART goals. But make sure you join in for that. So I'm going to scroll through the questions here. If you guys want to talk about anything for a minute while I find some questions, because I did see some questions that I do want to bring in.
Let's address a couple questions, and if whatever we can't get through, we'll do tomorrow. And we can make sure we do tomorrow in the question and answer session.
Yep. So, all right, let's see here. See, I need where's my? Gotta find the question. Oh, well, I guess I didn't find the question. All right. I'm gonna keep finding a question. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I did the wah 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 on you earlier, Alonso, when you couldn't figure this one out. Big B found it for you.
Yes.
Abraham Lincoln. If I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe.
Thank you so much. I knew it was something like that. Yeah, I butchered that concept.
Good job, Nick B.
All right. I know I saw some questions. Where are they? Oh, we got a compliment on the background.
Thank you, Henry. I know you're over there in Cyprus, hence the olive tree over here.
Adrian's New Year's. Get back to Cloud Architect course. Yes.
Yes.
Come on back.
Yes. There's a lot of you. There's a lot of you. I know you are all out there. Trust me, I've seen it. I didn't call you out. Adrian called himself out here in the chat box.
Good job, Adrian.
But
Take accountability.
I got a couple of people that sent in their New Year's resolution that said that too. It's like, hey, yeah, you need to get back to us. All right. Okay. Where did these questions go? They disappeared on me. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, here we go. Gerson. They ask, what is the career roadmap for a big data cloud architect for beginners? And I just joined your program.
Gerson, we don't train big data cloud architects, but I'll tell you, we've had a lot of big data architects and that we retrain them to be cloud architects because it'll double the salary and increase their career performance. So
the reason we don't do the big data is because of all the data specific training that is necessary to work in that field. We do not have the competency to train on the data science, the databases, the data engineering, all the data things. It's a whole cornucopia of years worth of learning that would be necessary to reach that goal. And it's just something that we don't have the competency for.
Yeah.
We do have the competency to train you to become a cloud architect.
Yes.
Once you become a cloud architect, you can then consider specializing in data, but that's not something that's workable within the time frame that we hope to get you hired as a cloud architect.
Not at all, but understand, Gerson, you're going to earn far more as a cloud architect that's optimizing someone's business than as a techie, which is going to be a big data person. And we have lots of data scientists and big data architects that come and say, I had enough of this. Now it's time for me to get a high paid career and really have a future, and they go from big data architects to cloud architects. But a big data architect on the cloud, off the cloud, it's the same thing. I mean, it's the same ways, the same object storage, no SQL databases, relational databases, Python, Spark scripts. You're not going to be using any of those cloud native tools. You're going to be doing it the same way you would do it in the data center. Because those tools, I want you to think about like McDonald's. When you go to McDonald's, would you like your hamburger, fries, and a Coke? When you design it yourself the way a big bank would, the only people who would hire big data architects, big banks, and big retailers, they don't want a Big Mac, fries, and a Coke. They want something that's cooked by an expert chef that's optimized for their business.
No cookie cutter.
Nope, no cookie cutter. All that cloud stuff is like a Swiss Army knife. Does almost everything but nothing great, as opposed to a pure knife that's been designed as a pure knife.
All right, so got one more question and then we'll wrap it up. But make sure to, if you got a New Year's resolution that you want us to talk about next week, go ahead and fill out that form that I've just put in the chat box, and we'll give it a shot. Let's see, I just saw it. Okay, so Farouk asks, CCSP or CISSP for security architect?
We don't ever recommend the CCSP ever. And in our course, we talk about not doing it. It has to be the CISSP. And here's why. The CISSP covers cloud and non-cloud. Not everything's going to be on the cloud. So don't waste your time getting a cloud-specific thing. It's meaningless. You're going to have data centers, private clouds, public clouds. The CISSP is the best security architect certification. It's not hands-on intentionally, and it's all designed. So the CCSP, I would toss it in the trash. The CISSP is an excellent certification.
All right. So, Mike or Alonzo, any last words to share with us on this episode of Head in the Clouds about New Year's resolutions?
Well, I'm glad to just be here. You know, definitely kicking off the 2023 with you gentlemen, and just moving forward and getting these New Year's resolutions out here so that we can better help everyone out there so that they can be the best cloud architects and technical professionals ever.
And I want to get to the I can't afford education thing. I don't care where you train, if you're with us or you train with somebody else. Every day when I walked into the halls of Temple University, where there was this big thing hanging up on the wall and said, if you don't think you can afford education, wait until you try ignorance. Now, I'm not calling anybody ignorant, but without an education, without the right skills, you'll be forced into a life where you'll work 10 times harder for nothing. And you know, I was crazy. I was an idiot. I literally worked 2 full-time jobs to pay for my tuition when I was younger because I was so afraid of debt. When it came to my CIA, I just took $40,000 of debt. I just did it like it was nothing. And I paid it off in a matter of months. And pre-CCIE back in around 1999, I earned $85,000 a year. Post-CCIE, I had a $170,000 a year job. And yeah, I invested $40,000. And guess what? I earned $85,000 more that year. So even after paying for the education, I was still $45,000 ahead. Now the next year I had a $200,000 job. And then I started the business acumen and other things. So don't let, fear of buying education. And you don't have to buy ours. Buy somebody's. Invest in somebody that's good, but just get some education because you don't want to be in a position where you have to work 10 times harder. My wife, who I should have listened to, told me, don't try and pay for your education with your current dollars. Pay for it with your graduate salary dollars. It's not the same. And you see the things that I invest in, because, you have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in your business. You have to invest in your people. You just sometimes have to do what it takes to build your future. So I want to make sure that you understand, whether it's with us, whether it's somebody else, I just want you to be successful. That's all it takes. I just want you to be successful. So invest in yourself, invest in your fitness, that's investing in yourself, invest in good nutrition, that's investing in yourself. Invest in your relationship with your spouse and your children, that's investing in yourself, and invest in quality education, regardless where you got it.
All right. So just before we wrap up, I want to remind everybody about our free How to Get Your First Cloud Job webinar this Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find the link in the chat box. I believe Tyrone's going to put it there. You can also find it in the description of this of the live stream. This is, like Mike just said, whether you learn with us or you learn with someone else, that we're going to give you the how to do it in this webinar, so that you know what to do, whether it's with us or with someone else. We'd love for it to be with us.
Yes.
Because we think we do it better than anyone else. So our results speak for itself. It's not easy, but it's the best approach that we found. So make sure to register for that webinar. Also want to remind everybody, make sure you're following Mike and Go Cloud Careers on LinkedIn, so that you can stay up to date with everything that we're doing. So again, thank you everybody for joining us on this first episode of Head in the Clouds for 2023 on New Year's resolutions. We look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a great week, and hopefully we'll see you on Thursday, either in the webinar or in class. So have a good evening.
Good night.
Take care, everyone.